Let's create UV map for our 3D model. Start with analyzing the important parts of your 3D model. Next, proceed to marking your seams. Seams is where your UV image is cut off. I do this to separate the parts where I want to draw or paint. I use Face Select for faster selection. After selecting where you want to add seam, just press U key and select Mark Seam. To create your UV map, press U key, hover to unwrap and select Smart UV Project. Next is to open your UV editor. You can use the UV editing button at the top, or in my case, I used the one on the bottom. I can now see a preview of my UV map, but I realized I had to include the other parts of it as well. I use the Hide tool to hide the parts that are using different materials. To use Hide tool, just select the parts that needs to be hidden. For faster approach, I selected the material and pressed the Select button. Then I pressed H key. Now I can update the UV for the gem material. Again, I started with the more important parts. Then proceed to unwrap. To unwrap the extra parts, I used Turley keys. For me, it is necessary to unwarp each part of the model unless I want to use single material profile to it. By the way, I use Island Selection mode on UV Editor for faster UV selection. Feel free to try the other selection mode just to see how it works. It will be applicable on your future UV editing. After creating your UV map, click UV button at the top of the UV editor and then select Export UV Layout. Save your UV map. Make sure the size is 512 by 512. Rename it to avoid confusion later. Then press Export UV Layout button. Then just repeat the same process to other materials. In my case, I will not do it for the metal because I will use a single color for all metal parts. Why do we need to create UV map? For illustration purposes, I used a 2D editing app to add designs to the UV map. Press Material Preview on the upper right. On Material Properties, click the material and add Image Texture. Press the Open button and select the image you want to use as texture. UV map is important because that is what we use to design or paint our 3D model. I only did it in Blender to show exactly how it works, but in the future, we're going to use Unity to add image texture to our 3D model. Thank you for watching. Please create your UV map now. Let me know if you ever encountered a problem.